OSP, what a stud. So OSP is cutting down to 205 pounds, gets a phone call. The 205-pound fight is off. We have another fight for you. And by the way, this is in a week in a different weight class known as heavyweight, right? And that's a big gap. Now, he's fighting Tanner, and Tanner isn't the world's biggest guy, but the point is the same, which means OSP gets the same credit. He gets the exact same credit for stepping into a different weight class that's got the biggest gap, right? 60-pound gap. All the rest have 15 and 20 pounds. So, but what was that like? What was that moment like? I mean, OSP is a big guy. Cutting down to 205 pounds is not fun. So when he gets that phone call, what does he do? Does he hang a left and he's in the nearest Taco Bell? I mean, like, how did that work? I was in this spot one time. One time I was going to a tournament. I was a freshman in high school. The weight class for the tournament was 123 pounds. I was a little over 130, but I also didn't know how to cut weight. Like, even you might hear that and go, Chael, it's only 7 pounds. Well, 7 pounds when you're 14 years old and you don't know what you're doing is torture. It's complete torture. Headed home from practice, and my father, who was driving me, talked to the coach. And the coach said, because I was a freshman, he did not want me to go to this tournament. It was something called cultural exchange. If you make the cultural exchange team, you actually get on an airplane, you go to another country. You train over there for a period of time. Pretty competitive because it comes with a very good reward. But the coach said, I believe this should be for juniors and seniors. I don't really like freshmen taking this opportunity because these guys aren't going to have it next year, and you've got 3 more times to do it. So when my father tells me this, whatever on the cultural exchange, all I know is I don't got to make 123 pounds. So my dad pulls in. There was something called an AM PM. I don't know if those still exist. It's a convenience store like a 7-Eleven. And when you go to 7-Eleven, you want to go get yourself a pop. You control the size of the cup. You control how much ice. You control which beverage that's going to be. I mean, you can make drinks at 7-Eleven that you simply can't get anywhere else, right? You can go around the horn, put a little Dr. Pepper in there, put a little cherry Coke in there, put a little 7-Up in there, and all of a sudden you've got this drink that nobody else could make. It's fun, right? It's fun. But AM PM did it with milkshakes. So I remember this day when I got that call, my dad pulled that truck right into AM PM, and I went right up there, and they had 2 different flavors, and I mixed. I had some chocolate in there. I had some vanilla in there. I had the absolute biggest cup. I grabbed one of those things of donuts. You know those donut gems? They're white. There's like 6 of them that come in there. Little powdered donut. With my milkshake. This is all I know is I don't got to make 123 pounds. So I'm just wondering for OSP, what was that moment like for him? How bad was he hurting at this point? 1 week before weigh-ins? You're talking about the worst, the most painful time. All you can think about is food. All you can think about is getting to that scale. All you can think about is what am I going to drink and what am I going to eat the second that state athletic commissioner says, good, you're on weight. What am I going to do? So OSP got that a little bit early, and he's showing some courage. He's taking a risk. He's moving up a weight class. I mean, there's another side to this that I really think OSP needs rewarded for. There's a few tough guys around that don't get credit. You guys know Eric Anders? You following Eric Anders' career? Eric Anders is a tough guy. I don't know what it is he's good at. I know what he's great at is absolutely nothing. He's tough. You don't want to run into this guy. Eric Anders is a brown belt, but in everything. He's a brown belt in boxing. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. He's a brown belt in wrestling, right? He's not a master of anything. He's tough. I love watching Anders fight, but OSP falls in that same category. Both of those guys, maybe it's because their history was on the gridiron, right? But there was something about it. And they kind of run parallel for me. Like all the compliments I would give OSP, I have to give Anders too. When I see those guys, they're very similar. OSP is a master of nothing, but he's a tough SOB. Speaking of OSP and Anders, how do we never get those guys together? I might have just had an idea here on accident. OSP versus Eric Anders. How do you like that?